a waste of time. All right, guys. Now we're going to be working with our master link. As you see, I have the chain on, and we're ready to put the riveting piece on. Should come with plenty of O-rings. Should be 4, which we have here. We're also going to get grease, and that's what you want to put on the links, because these are obviously getting no lubrication prior to coming from the manufacturer. Take off the old rings that were on when we punched it. So now, is it dying?
No. Want me to pause it?
No. Alright. We're going to liberally put grease onto these links. Apply all of it if you can. The more the better. Save some for when you push through. Now remember to slide on your first set of O-rings before you slide the piece through. We're going to slide this guy in. Okay, remember it's not going to slide all the way on. That's why we use presses. Apply a little bit more grease before you put the second set of O-rings on. Remember, don't be afraid to over apply. This is one of those times where more is better. Can't do any damage using less. Kind of wish they gave me a little more, but this will do. The grease will also help holding the O-rings on there. Alright, next, take the new plate and just kind of get it on there. It's not going to sit well because it requires the press, but as you can see, I can kind of get a little bit of play on there. But that's as far as it's going to go before we do the press plate. Alright, now we're going to change out the breaker for the press pieces. There's only 2. This just goes in the top. We're not even going to use this to tighten it all. This is just going to, we'll just leave that out actually. So we have 2. See how this one's grooved? This goes on the back pieces that are already riveted on the master link that we had. This has holes through. That's for the side that we have the unriveted pieces. Very important that you do it this way, otherwise you can completely destroy your master link. So this will slide on. You'll feel it seat. Then time to use the press. It's very important to make sure that you're not pressing on the ends of the rivets. That's why with this one, you'll most likely need to press check. So we're just going to use the press bar for this portion to make sure that we are nice and refined with our slow movements, ever so lightly checking. This is also where a pair of calipers comes in. We are going to check the width of the stock chain and get it to that. On this one. So the width is going to be about 70 millimeters. So this one is more like 80 right now. So we're going to keep pressing. Now we're going to back it out. Check, make sure that, see how they're pressing on nicely. We're not pushing on the rivet pieces at all, which is a good sign. So we're going to get back, slide that into place. Make sure that the back piece is good. This is the most tedious part, but it's where you can make the biggest, one of the biggest mistakes. So that is why we're taking it slow, guys. It's lined up, pressing. Looks like it could use 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter more. Press. Now we're going to take it off again. Check the width. Looks good. Now this one. Stock chain has a width of about, it's actually 60. This guy, wow, on the 60, on the mark. Just make sure. Yep, so that's perfect. We're not going to press that anymore. So now we're going to use the rivet piece. As you can see, it's got a rounded tip, unlike the chain breaker that was just a regular tip. That's because, as you see down here, fits into this circle, and it's going to mushroom the top of that rivet to look like this. This is another time where you want to measure. We're going to measure the width of that, and we're going to get this to about the same. All right, so now we're going to use a backing piece. See how it has a dimple that sits down here, as to not damage the other side. And same as always, last time, the riveting piece is slightly inside of here. So we're going to do the first. Actually, first we're going to measure the width. It's about 30 millimeters. Right now, this should only be let me see. This is actually about right around the 30. And this, as we close, goes down to about 0. So we have to basically (25) actually to 0. So we need, by the time we press it, we should get about 10 millimeters. I think that's millimeters. Anyway, I know the measurements I have. You need to make sure that you do the same as to not overpress. That also can cause your link to bind. So, as before, we're going to use the large piece just to set it. My back is set onto the old rivet. Now, give a slight turn just to make sure that it's locked on there. Nothing crazy, we already pressed it. And now we're going to do this. This is something you want to do very slowly as well. So I'm going to do quarter turn, and we're going to back it off. I'm going to measure it again. It's not going to look like those, it's just going to be widened. Doesn't look like we did much, but this is my first time doing this, and I want to be cautious. I'm going to put it back on, back out the riveting again. This time we're going to give it a little bit more, probably a full half to a full turn. Make sure that's on tight. And we're going to go like that. Give me a little pushback. Back it off again. I'm going to check the width. Still have a decent way to go. Okay, back it off again. Okay. This is a very tedious process, but this you do not want going wrong on your motorcycle. So we're around a 20 on the stack. Need you back up. Alright guys, as you can see, these are now mushroomed out. They're to about 20 millimeters, whereas these are about 22. So 22, 25, these are about 20. So within 2 to 3 millimeters should be good. I did have to press it on a little bit more for it to work, turns out. So make sure measurements don't always work. So that's why I eyeballed it, and it actually was, the chain could have gone a little bit more narrow. So now I'm going to get rid of this. We're going to find the chain slack that we want, move the wheel out before we then tighten the front sprocket, because we'll need the back tight for that. So, alright guys, so now we're going to adjust the chain, take proper slack. This is basically just going to be turning this guy out, pushing the chain and the wheel back, and then I'm going to use my calipers again to measure it so that both sides are the same. That way we keep our wheel aligned. It's probably the most annoying part. So I finished adjusting my chain. Since I went down one tooth, it might have had to go a little longer, but decent amount of slack, nothing too crazy. It's normally about 20 to 30 millimeters. So if you start down here, you start up here, that is about 25, so that's right where I need to be. And then we're just going to tighten up the rear axle. Make sure this guy is nice and tight because you don't want that guy coming off. And once we tighten this up, we're going to move to putting the bike back down and tightening up the front sprocket, and that should be a wrap, guys. Good. Alright guys, we're going to feed our pry bar back through the swing arm so that we can tighten our front sprocket. Okay. Now that that's there, we're going to come back up here and first make sure our lock nut is pressed back. Now comes the tough part. Helps if you have a socket that fits this. Not everybody does. So, you make do. Oops, I forgot. The wheel's gotta be caught the other way. I do not want to be putting. Make sure you feed it under the swing arm, actually, guys, so that you do not put unnecessary strain on your new chain. Remember, don't worry about the pull that you're putting in your chain. Your motorcycle does a lot harder of a pull on that than you ever will. You just want to make sure that this guy is all nice and tight. I would tell you guys what size this is. Could. But I don't know. In the future, I will most likely, definitely, buy a socket that fits this. But I don't think that's going anywhere. Plus, Once you get your lock nuts on, pull this out now. Make sure everything's running smoothly, and we will lock these guys on somehow. That works. Make sure you bend them over this way. Your nut not come off. Alright, those are both bent. Give it one more turn, make sure it ain't going anywhere. Alright, and voila, your chain sprocket's done. All you have to do is put your cover back on, and you should be good to go. Really no play there, which is good. Nothing off the back. Still the same amount of slack. We're looking good. I'll do a video once it's warm out, me riding, and let you guys know how the acceleration feels and what's changed. So other than that, I'll catch you guys next time on Joe on Twos. Hopefully I'll be on the road next time you guys see me, so peace out.
I was doing just fine before I met you. I drank too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay. You tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. We moved to the city in a broke down car, and 4 years, no calls. Now you're looking pretty in a hotel bar, and I can't stop. No, I can't stop. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can't afford.